All right, welcome everybody. Please stay muted. If you want to ask a question, you can raise your hand or use the chat box, but we are going to have plenty of time to ask questions at the end. So I don't want you to think that you're not going to have any time to ask any questions. So the subject of today is uncover your hidden gifts and live the best life ever. Who's ready to change their lives? Can we see a show of hands?
I already changed mine, but yeah.
Are you sick of lockdown and homestay and COVID? Show of hands. Yay! So make sure you are in the right place. This is for you if you keep on getting stuck, particularly now where life seems to have changed beyond recognition. And most of us don't know what to do, where to turn to. This is for you if you're struggling and you want to improve your life. This is for you if you don't know that you have all what you need in order to get unstuck and to have the best life that you can. This is for you if you don't know that you have inner gifts that can help you do that. How many of you know that they have what they need in order to get unstuck and live their best life? Did you know that, guys? Okay, good. Now, how do we do that? What we are going to do, or what we're assuming, is that we're talking to reasonably adjusted people. So if anybody has a particularly mental health issue, we're not talking to you. This is not the right place to address it. Okay, I'm going to restart my presentation because it keeps getting stuck. Okay, can you see this, everyone?
I see you.
Yeah, not the screen? Not what I'm sharing? Oh.
No.
Okay, hold on. Okay, we seem to be back on. Are you seeing this now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we're assuming that we're talking to reasonably well-adjusted people that to remind you that we're going to have a Q&A session at the end. And if you stay right to the end, we're going to have a special gift for you. First, few housekeeping rules. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get my screens there. Okay. Please forget what you already know. When you attend something new, we're only trying to put few concepts to you tonight to help you see your world in a different way. So try and forget what you already know, make space for something new, take it all in, and if you're not sure about something, again, we'll answer questions at the end. If you're interested in getting the PDF of this webinar, email us, I'll send you a copy. And we will also be, Nathalie and I will also be sharing it at the end on our social media. What can really help you take information in, believe it or not, is to breathe. When you breathe, you take information in as well. So some people get really distracted when they take notes down. So just listen in, and if anything doesn't make sense, ask us later. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself for those who don't know me. I have been in life mentoring, coaching, life guidance for the past 28 years or so. My experience started as a civil engineer, and later I worked with top international brands in advertising as an account manager. And then I moved into psychic readings, and then my clients kept asking me, why has this happened? Why has this not happened? So that pushed me into studying different modalities, different things to try and understand how we manifest things in life and why don't we. So over the years, I've had more than 14,000 one-to-one sessions. These are sessions before webinars and before Zoom. And this one-to-one experience has been really valuable because my clients allowed me to grow as they also did. When I did the psychic work professionally, I was named 3 times as one of the best 100 psychics in the world. So I have also intuitive abilities. When I work with the clients, I can literally see where the block is, why they're saying what they're saying. I am a published author. I have also been a life coach and columnist since 2004, both in England and here in the UAE. My particular thing is to help clients identify why they are blocked. So very often in an assessment, which is free for everyone who completes the assessment, in your discovery session, at least we will unblock one thing and we will find out what is holding you back. So no matter what you have done in the past, never be afraid to ask for help because nothing will change if everything stays the same. My training has been a long one, but what truly mostly influenced me is my own teacher, Marin Jose, and the late Keith Casburn, who's a great spiritual mentor. I've also studied BNC Miracle Method, which is a unique healing method that has been developed by 2 healers here in Dubai. I did reconnective healing. I studied the essence of sound with an amazing ex-engineer as well in Canada. I did kinesiology, full spectrum vibrational healing, Western herbs for Eastern medicine. I did with Nathalie a 4-year training program, certificate training program of holistic studies at MNSH. During those 4 years, we had to put ourselves under a microscope, literally keep notes, identify who we are, why we are blocked, what needs to be worked on. And it was the most enjoyable as well as the hardest 4 years ever. I'm only saying this to show you that we need to continue to grow, to learn, to keep unboxing, to find out or connect really deeply with who we are. I feel that every opportunity, every blockage is really an opportunity for growth. So whenever you get stuck, instead of getting frustrated, if you ask the right questions, you'll begin to get the right answers. And this journey is still evolving, my journey. I started early on with the Silva method, which is a course that trains you to use your mind. Very valuable course, highly recommended for anyone. I also studied with very distinguished masters like Mantak Chia of the Healing Tao, Caroline Myss, Deepak Chopra, etc., etc. And Theo Gimble was one of the most interesting courses. He's passed away recently, where we studied all about color. In the second half of the webinar, Nathalie is going to move into color, the vibration of color, and what does that mean? Because within our makeup, we also have color or a vibration that is a chakra that is also identified with a color. So hopefully you'll have a holistic understanding of who you are. You will uncover the gifts that you have once you begin to see yourself in a different way. Our core principles as holistic therapists, counselors, life guidance, whatever you want to call us, is to inspire, to empower. There is no sense in being judgmental, in putting anybody down, because our journeys have been difficult at times, and we know that it doesn't do anyone any good to be judged. So you're not going to be judged tonight. This is a safe place. You can ask what you want or send a message in the chat, and I hope that everyone else will treat this with respect. What we really want here is to help you uncover or begin to understand how you can manifest the best version of yourself. You also need to understand, to affect these transformations, the mental shift is from victim mentality to that of a co-author. We co-write our lives, whether we are aware of it or not. But when you become aware that you are actually co-authoring your life, you'll begin to see where you can change the script. How can you do things differently? How can you approach them differently, but more importantly, to continue to evolve with your belief system, which is really the thing that we create with our mind. So when your mind changes, when your perspective and outlook change, what you create, what will manifest in your life will be very, very different. For me personally, I'm sure for Nathalie as well, the first thing that I do with a client is to hold them accountable for what they have created in their life. It is not the fault of the pandemic. It is not the fault of, I don't know, the weather, your parents, our parents, wars, or whatever it is. This is life. Life, the only constant thing in life is change. So we need to be responsible and reflect on our lives to try and figure out if our life was a movie, what was the script? What did we write for ourselves? You can only change what you think, feel, and the way that you behave about something. The thing may not change, but how you view it, how you understand it, how you integrate it in your life can change. And this is what we're here to do, to hold you accountable for what went wrong, what you did not do, and to inspire you to take action in a new direction, focusing on what you can actually do. How do we do that? The key is to extract wisdom from experience, past experiences. So instead of the self-loathing, okay, my cats have started coming in. Instead of the self-loathing, you need to ask yourself, what did I learn from what has happened? My other key question is, I always ask myself, how did I participate in making that happen? And finally, what did I learn from what has happened? And if you manage to answer these three questions, what seems to be a trauma, a very difficult event, turns into a learning experience that can help you move forward in life. What will you learn tonight? You will understand why we get blocked. You will understand what your human makeup is, because we kind of respond to what is happening. Our response can allow things to flow. Our response can also block things. You will find out what your hidden gifts are. You will understand what is your energy system, because we don't exist in isolation. And you will begin to understand how you can unblock things by yourself, working with yourself. As we learn how to unblock, we understand what our human makeup is. When we understand our human makeup, we will understand how to unblock ourselves. So the two, there's a dynamic relationship between the two, and they're always changing and always evolving. How do we do this? The key to that is connecting with the real you. If you feel this is who I am, if you define yourself one way, you know, I'm an executive, or I'm a business woman, or I'm a partner, or I'm a mother, or whatever it is, you limit the way you interact with your world. When you see yourself differently in terms of energy, in terms of your human technology, what I refer to as a human technology, which is your makeup, which we'll go to in a minute, then you'll begin to understand, okay, if I tweak these things, maybe one aspect is out of alignment. If I bring it back into alignment, then I can begin to move forward with ease. Who's agreeing with me? Okay. The result of all of this is that you will set yourself free, because I feel there's nothing worse than feeling helpless, stuck in a hole, or stuck in a corner. But what I've also learned is when you're stuck in a hole, stop digging. Ask for help. Ask the right questions. I'd like to move now to what is your hidden gift, or what is your human makeup. If this is you, and I'm using a female figure here, not intentionally, I just couldn't find a man, no pun intended. If this is you, you have 4 aspects. Anything that is to do with you can be grouped under 4 aspects. And this is what I use, or this is the principle of the Unbox mentoring. The first aspect is your physical body. If you are not here, then we won't be talking about this. So your physical body is the reason that you exist. So never forget that, because a lot of people go into their mind, go into their feeling, they forget that everything they think or do, all experiences they have gone through are literally stored in the body. If you think about it, when you were first born, as a newborn, there was only your physical body. There is no intellect. Your emotions were a response to what your physical body experienced. So everything starts with the physical body, and then it moves up into becoming an emotion. And if the same thing keeps repeating, then it starts building a belief system. So every time my mother's opened the window, I feel cold, therefore I feel unsafe. And this is what a baby thinks, and this is how our belief systems start. So the physical body is the beginning of it all. The next level is your feelings, because these responses are governed by a lot of hormones. So your body is almost a vehicle by itself. It's got nothing to do with who you are or your identity. There's a mechanism that is going on that is interacting with the world regardless of who you are as an individual. And we need to appreciate that. In Arabic, we say your body has a right over you. So we forget that as a vehicle, you need to take care of your body. You need to love it. You need to pamper it. You need to make it rest. Don't forget that. If the body is exhausted, then it would not be a good container for all your emotions, thoughts, experiences, and you will not reach the right decision. So body goes through sensations, through stimulus, it starts experiencing emotion. The next level is your thoughts. As we said, when an experience keeps repeating, if we see it in a certain way, it will start building a thought pattern or a belief system. According to this thought pattern or belief system, we begin to make decisions or take actions. However, this is not the end of the story. So these are some of your gifts, some of your hidden gifts. Without working with anyone, you can look at your body, at your emotions, explore your belief system, and reflect on the actions that you have taken, the way that you have responded in the past. And if that didn't get you anywhere, then these are the 4 elements that you need to tweak in order to start to get back to alignment gradually. Raise a hand if you are with me so far. Good. Excellent. So this is what I call your human technology. I also refer to it as the 4 dimensions of change. So when we work together, we'll be talking about the 4 dimensions of change. If you take the online assessment, I will be exploring your 4 dimensions of change. It may not be so obvious, but this gives me kind of an overview of what needs to be worked with first, what is the priority, and how do I unbox you or unlock you. You can do the same with yourself at home. I'm going to talk a little bit as to how you can start doing that. I'll do that a little bit later on. But I just want to tell you that who you are is more than the total sum of your parts. So you are not just the physical body or the emotion or the thoughts or the action. You, which is here, if you can see this here, exist within a bigger or outer world or universe or container. So there is your inner world and there is your outer world. Your inner world is your physical body. Very often we will see dis-ease, i.e. lack of flow or lack of ease in the energy flowing through us in the body. And if something goes on for a long time, it will actually manifest as a physical disease. So your body, your emotions, your thoughts or belief system, and accountability to your actions is what make up your inner world. This inner world doesn't exist in isolation. It also interacts with the larger world, with everything, with everyone, with the planets and whatever and whoever is in it. To take you a step further, this outer world and the inner world interact. And if these 2 arrows, what I refer to as the liberation current and the manifestation current, energy is going up and down. When we grow up as, or when we form as babies, it's almost like the bottom, the feet or the bottom of the spine starts forming, and then gradually the embryo forms a head. So this kind of a dynamic, a flow that starts from bottom to top. And then as we grow up, of course, with our mind, we gain cerebral intellect, we begin to respond. And that is what I refer to as from the top to the bottom. So you have two currents that are flowing. One is the liberation current and one is the manifestation current. So the way that you deal with your inner world and your outer world, there's two pathways. And if these two pathways, either of these two pathways get blocked, then it will cause you to get stuck. It will cause you to overthink, for example. It will cause you to suffer for longer because you don't understand what experiences you've gone through, and so on and so forth. So the outer world affects your inner world, and you respond to your outer world according to what's going on with the inner world. If this inner world is not clear, if it is carrying a lot of emotions or feelings that have not been processed, or experiences that have not been integrated, these will begin to act as blocks in your energy. So if you exist within this energy field and you want to interact with your outer world, but your field is full of blocks, then the energy is not going to flow smoothly. And this is when things take longer to manifest, or our physical bodies take longer to heal, or we procrastinate and take longer in taking the right action in the right direction. So all these levels are interlinked. And the real you is hiding under all of that. So this is only to explain your makeup, your human technology. But if you want to get to the crux of who you are, you need to be ready to consistently observe yourself, work on yourself, and peel these layers like you would an onion, a layer by layer. Very often I hear my clients say, oh, this has happened again. Why do I have to go through it again? I don't really think we go through the same experience twice. It's always a similar experience on a different level. Like those layers of the onions, you have to keep asking the right questions to unblock something in order to get to the deeper meaning or the deeper understanding that you're trying to gain through this experience. Why you get blocked in a nutshell? Without your awareness of who the real you is, what is your makeup, you wouldn't know what needs to be fixed. So if you didn't know that you have these 4 or maybe more, because we're going to talk about the outer world as well in terms of your energy field, if you don't know that you have these gifts that are to do with your inner world and your outer world, you will not know what you need to do, what you need to fix. So you may have positive aspects, what these plus sign stands for, and you have negative aspects, feeling guilty, feeling whatever it is that you're feeling, and you can't manifest if the flow within you, the interaction within you is blocked because of these negative aspects. This is when things start to slow down and we don't move forward with our lives. How do you unblock yourself? Very simply, be curious. Be curious about life. Be curious about your life. Ask the right questions. What did I learn? How did I participate in this happen? Can I respond in a different way? What is within my means to control? I have kind of like a philosophy in life. Never mind how people drive. Focus on how you drive. So never mind how he or she thinks. What did she or he do? Focus on you. What is your intention? What are your core values? What do you want out of this interaction, whether it's a job or another person or a relationship? And always, always be ready and flexible and open to redefine how you identify with yourself. Very often, and this is from experience, a person would see themselves as their job. When I ask a male client, who are you? They go, oh, I'm a head of blah, 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 offshore accounting. And I say, I didn't ask you what you do. I asked you, who are you? So who we are have got nothing to do with how society defines us. It goes beyond sex. It goes beyond religion or nationality. It's truly the essence of what it is to be a human being. Keep that in mind. So to help you at home, you can start working from top to bottom. You can start with your actions. You can go down to your mind, emotions, and body, or you can move upwards and start with your body. relax, sleep more, do whatever you needed to do for your body that you didn't get to do. Reflect on your emotions. When do you go completely off the scale? And what triggers you? Just understand yourself better. And then the next time you'll be, okay, I don't need to go that far, and so on. So start with any of the 4 dimensions. Start either from, I call them BEMA, start from the body or start from the action, and kind of put objectives for yourself. Each dimension, what is your objective? What is it that you want to work on? I hope this has helped. At the end of the webinar, I'm going to give you, or I'm going to give it to you now actually in the chat room, a link to Tool for Life, what I call Tool for Life, that can help you begin to assess where you are blocked and where are you losing it, and what are the positive aspects to yourself so that you can physically see how to bring yourself back into alignment. Does that help? Has that helped anyone? You can put your mic on and let me know before I give the mic over to Nathalie.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark.
Very nice.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
Not at all, my pleasure. And by the way, hopefully, Nathalie and I are going to do these free webinars monthly. So make sure you sign up to my newsletter or her newsletter so we can continue to do this.
Would love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else would like to say anything else before we continue?
No questions?
Okay. Do you want to take over, Nathalie?
Yes. Do you want to put up the PowerPoint presentation because you have the latest?
But I can't, I mean, I will be in charge of moving it unless you wanna, yeah?
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Ola, do you have a question? Go ahead. Unmute yourself if you want to ask something.
There will be a Q&A at the end of the session, right? So we'll go back because I remembered the number of the slide. So.
Oh, don't worry. You can just ask about it. We'll put it back on. Okay. So I'm going to mute you and I'm going to start sharing the slides. So Nathalie, you tell me when you say next, I will go next.
Thank you so much. Thank you to my beautiful assistant. So to build on everything Sahar has said, okay, and just to give you a very short, quick background on how I got here, I was never aware. I was never in tune with my actions or with my feelings. In fact, as I was growing up, I had a lot of issues, things just happened, and I come from a generation that had no counselors or people to talk to at school. And I just did not learn how to accept what I was feeling. Therefore, I just suppressed it all. So my background is design, graphic design. I always loved languages and drawing. And I think I worked in advertising and branding until I pushed myself to an edge. Notice I did not say life pushed me. I pushed myself to an edge because I just kept working, running, denying what was happening, definitely denying how I was feeling inside and anything that was happening with my physical body. I was only looking at the outside. So I would look at my symptoms and not link it to anything internal. Not because I didn't know they were linked. I knew they were linked. I didn't know. So I, luckily, like things happen in the universe, not by chance, came across Sahar's cousin, who gave us the 4-year diploma. And I started understanding how I created everything in my life. I created my own diseases, my own misery. Depression was the biggest. I wasn't even worried about IBS or my throat or my coughs or my colds or anything else. Depression I had suffered from 3 times growing up as an adolescent. And by the age of 36, I had had enough. And really, I had enough self-love to say, I don't want any chemicals. I want to understand how my programming is affecting my life, how I am causing this. So I started working on myself. This was not, my intention was not to become a therapist or a counselor. My intention was just to survive because I really love life and I wanted to be well. So I finished it and I became well. bye-bye depression, and I changed a lot. Actually, everything physical, every physical ailment I had suffered from just left me. Anything that happens with me these days, I know where it comes from. I know it is linked to a blocked emotion that comes from a thought, a certain pattern of thought. So besides the one-on-one counseling that I give, which I really, really enjoy, I started thinking of how to put a package of information together to throw at those courageous enough to sit through a 21-hour workshop with me and to better understand how their thinking has created their emotional blocks and led or may lead to any physical dis-ease in their own bodies. So the workshop I created is about the chakra system. Maybe, yes.
So you're starting the workshop on Saturday, right? Let everyone know.
Yes. So yeah, the
Highly
next one
recommend
on
it, by the
Saturday.
way. 7 weeks, 7 chakras. You'll get to understand your dynamic completely.
And why it's over 7 weeks is because really it's only an introduction, everything we have studied, and I kept on studying. I went into the anatomy, I went into NLP. I'm sure a lot of people are into NLP. That just shows you the power of the mind, how the way we think creates our reality, really. And I keep on progressing and peeling the layers of my existence, because as Sahar said, when we become aware, we can do anything, we can change anything, because you know you're not your thoughts, you know you're not your feelings, you know you're not your physical body, you are so much more than that. And then the awareness can help change everything you're not happy with. But it definitely takes, more than anything, 100% self-love. The self-love will lead to self-acceptance, to no judgment, to giving yourself time, and to changing anything you do not want anymore. Not that it's wrong, it's just not serving you anything now, and you just want to change it to something better. Okay. Yes.
Tell everyone why you called your company Ta'abir, because
yes, thank you. Yes, that's an Arabic name, which means expression. So because what my friend and business partner and I do, we both work with people to help them express in different ways. So express how they feel, express their anger, express their love, express their happiness, express their voice. A lot of people don't know how to really express themselves in public or on TV, on the radio. So we both work with people to help them express anything they need to move on in order to move on in their work. Expressions, movement of energy as well. Thank you, Sahar. So everything is energy, therefore we are energy. Very quickly, you know, the idea of energy is, if we think of ourselves or the power, whatever it is we're feeling inside, as electricity. So it is, some people call it the animated life force within us, and it is also around us. Like Sahar said, it affects us inside, and everything we feel and emit affects everybody else. So we really are all connected. We're all connected to each other, to every living being on Earth, and to the planet as well, and beyond that. All right. I just mentioned here quickly that this science has been known forever. So the Chinese knew it, the Hindus knew it, everybody works with energy. Scientists such as Einstein, Freud, they knew it. Everybody had a different name to it, and we'll just call it energy. All right, so we have many, many chakras and energy points in our bodies. I think Sahar today mentioned to me that we have 114 connected to our physical bodies, but there are thousands. And those points are what acupuncturists and energy healers work with. They tap into certain points in our body in order to release blocked energy, all right? I focus on the 7 main ones because they're the ones you can find most of the books on. These are just a simple illustration to help you understand what Sahar said. We take energy in from the top. It's the downward manifesting current of energy, and we take energy up from the earth, the upward liberating current of energy. When we feel something inside, That's our energy moving. We can feel love, happiness, sadness, anger, jealousy, aggression, anything. It's just moving inside us. Of course, what happens is we're not taught that it's all okay because it's happening inside our body. We do need, as a first step, to accept that it is in us. We are doing the feeling. That's not correct English, but I just have to say it because it helps me understand.
The feeling.
We're doing the feeling. We can't say, oh, Sahar makes me angry, or Jinan makes me happy, or Sarah makes me feel love. It is me reacting to those people, to who they are, who I think they are, things they said or did, you know. Therefore, it should also empower me to know that I can change the way I react to the outside world and create more happiness and wellness within myself. When I don't like certain feelings and emotions, so the most obvious are, I don't want to feel sad, I don't want to feel angry, I don't want to be jealous, I don't want to be this or that, I only want what I judge as the happy emotions, then I end up blocking. But since it's all an energy, I block everything. It's not like a compartment when you choose. Everything gets blocked. And at the end, what I had done to myself is completely block and suppress my life force, my energy. Therefore, when I said I had no energy, it was true. I had no energy. I was sleeping more and I got depressed. Now, depression, we can get into it some other time, but it gets affected by all of these things. The way I think, the way there's no self-love, the way I've suppressed all the moving life force energy within my body. Okay, so when you don't like something, you get a reaction inside to an emotion, it gets blocked. Those blocks are blocks of the natural flow of energy. So you block it, and each chakra governs a set of organs and hormonal glands in a certain part of our body, as you can see from this illustration. So if the energy isn't flowing properly, it gets blocked, stagnated, and therefore the organs in that part of our body do not function properly. I always felt ashamed of who I was growing up as a kid. I was really tiny, short, so I didn't really feel I existed. I was very shy. I didn't see I had a place in the world. I always compared myself to others who were, I thought, smarter, who did things differently. Oh, what am I not like them? Etc. Therefore, I blocked the energy in my solar plexus, which is the yellow one, the center, which is our fire, our engine, our energy, our identity. This is the center that teaches us that we are unique. I did not believe I was unique. Therefore, I affected the energy in that part of my body as I was growing up, and I had IBS since the age of 11. It took me up to the age of 35 to understand. And since then, I can't tell you how happy it is, how happy I am to have a really good digestive system. I love it. It is also our brain. And this is the brain I function with. So when I was comparing myself to somebody who is more scientific and functioned from their the brain inside their skull, okay, that's different. Nothing is better than the other, but it's just that I stopped judging myself, and therefore my health became better. And that's just, I accepted the way I functioned, and everybody's unique and everybody is necessary and everybody has a gift. So when we stop judging ourselves and comparing ourselves to others, we function better, and we really are here with the gift we came to the world to present the world with. So yeah, I ran through my points. So what's a chakra? A chakra is a Sanskrit word to mean a disc of light or a center of moving energy. Okay, I use this image just to show you that really we are created out of energy. That energy needs to flow smoothly in order to take energy in from the energy field around us all, feed it into our bodies in order for our organs and our physical body to function properly. So I mentioned all of that in the previous slide.
Can I just add?
Yeah.
Because it makes me think of ta'abir and the chakras, and the chakras really, each chakra, if I can go back a slide, is linked to a hormone. So this is the link to the physical body, and that is why they are gifts. So in the 7th chakra is where you express your visions. You know, very often when you get an idea, you go, oh, I got an idea, and you touch your crown. And then you begin to see it, you dream about it, and you say, I'm dreaming about this, or I have a big dream. And then you begin to talk about it. That's your 5th chakra. And then your heart gets really excited. That's your 4th. And then you mobilize your inner power, as Nathalie said, which is the 3rd chakra. 2nd, you begin to make decisions, connect, network with other people until it's finally manifested. So that's the manifestation channel. And the letting go channel, the liberating channel, is the other things. As you start as a child with your physical body, you experience things that your root chakra, you're either safe or unsafe, loved or unloved. And then again, you either have a good, successful relationship or traumatizing one. You have a sense of your own power or you don't. You're connected to the world and who is around you. You are clear of your core values and intentions. That's the heart. You communicate it the right way and so on. So these two currents, and anything that moves in the world has energy. Otherwise, they'll be dead. Anything, the planets, everything. And this is why I love the image that Nathalie has here. Anything that moves has energy. You are here, but your electrons are all over the universe. So everything is interacting with everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please continue. Chakra spins.
Yes, no, you know, I mean, that is very, very good,
Okay.
nice, quick way of explaining everything, Sahar. So thank you. I mean, I just wanted to give one example, but they are all connected. So if I blocked my 3rd chakra, it would affect my 2nd and my 4th. So it's
And
very
your expression.
important.
I'm
Yes.
thinking of ta'abir, you know, the name of your,
Yes.
you know, it's an expression of who you are. So if that chakra gets blocked, basically you are blocking your expression.
Yeah. Yeah, the throat chakra. Expressing your truth. Each one actually has things and thoughts and emotions that block it. And each one has a main one that we study about during the workshop. Like you learn where fear comes from, you learn how you create your own anxiety, how it gets stacked in the body and how to release it. You learn about guilt, about shame, about depression, about lies, about illusions, how all of these things and attachment block us from growing energetically. Okay, yeah, sorry, Sahar, I keep jumping. So thank you.
No, that's
Next
fine.
slide.
I think that's a nice image. You know, maybe people can screenshot it to remember that they have several expressions, and any of these expressions or chakras can be blocked. Do you want to tell us about the front of the chakra and the back of the chakra? Why
Yes.
you have the two?
Yes, so the energy current is in the center, but from the front, we have what is called the emotional center, and from the back, it is the will center. They're both connected, so you might block your heart center because you've just gone through a heartbreak, so that emotional center might be blocked just for that phase in your life, okay? But you might still be willing to love, so your heart chakra might still be functioning in the back. So it's never really closed and endless and desperate. We just need to find out how you blocked it and go through the emotions. That's the most important thing. So if you go through a heartache, you know, most of the times our friends who love us, they only do it out of good intention. They say, khalas, move on, forget about it, life's good, you know, but we don't process our emotions. We do need to cry it out. We do need to release the anger. We do need to just release that energy out where it is needed. Energy is not bad. It's just, it needs to be released when it's not good within your body, when it's stagnated, okay? And then you have space to fill it. And you don't intentionally wake up one morning and think, I want to be happy, I want to forgive, I want to love. It is our natural way of being. You don't need to intend it. It just happens. And you really feel good and you really attract great things.
May I add something, Nathalie?
Please.
So the front of the chakras, basically, this is your front. This is how you see the world. And the back of the chakra is your will to exist and express yourself in the world. So if you don't see the world from the right perspective, you're not gonna interact with it from the right perspective. So even something small like that can block your energy system and how you interact with the outside world.
Yeah.
Would you like me to move to this slide?
Yes, please. Thank you. Okay, so I mean, I must have mentioned some of these points. I wanted to share with you how this knowledge helped me change my life. So I understood how I was creating my physical diseases and how I was an active participant in my life circumstances. So not go in as a victim, but go in, like Sahar said, as, you know, I am the co-creator of what's happening in my life and how my body is reacting. So, okay, great. That means it gives me power. I understood how my mind was affected by my own thoughts, okay, because that's the most powerful part of our body. And the sad thing is that we've all become slaves to our mind instead of allowing it to manifest what we want. Okay, so we need to understand that we're not our thoughts. We constantly think and we become drained because that's how we've been brought up, you know, constantly move, constantly do things. Why are you sleeping? Why are you taking a nap? Why are you taking a break? Yalla, you have to keep on going. You have to keep on thinking and producing and doing instead of actually accepting that we need to also be, and to remind ourselves to be in the moment. So this new, it's not a new science, but we keep hearing about it these days a lot. To become mindful is so freeing, it's so liberating, it's so calming. You sit and you focus on what you're doing right now. That's mindfulness. And it helps you with so many benefits health-wise. So I understood how powerful my thoughts were and how they were energy that were affecting me. I became aware of my thoughts and the words I spoke to myself. So if you say, yeah, no, I love myself, but if I'm so stupid, I mean, I always do the same mistake again. That word, that thought is so powerful. You're giving yourself such bad karma, bad energy, and it's affecting your physical body and your emotions inside. We have to become aware of all those little thoughts and the words that we tell our body constantly. Our body and our minds are listening to us 24/7. I started learning how to love myself first. Like I told you, that is the basic, that's like the main work before anything can change. I became selfish to my needs and my well-being. I started forming boundaries, which means I learned to say no to people I loved most. And that doesn't mean I hate them or I love them any less. It just meant that I needed to understand my limits, the limits of my own emotional well-being. You know, this is good for me, I can do this, and I can't do that. Understanding them. And then my relationship with everybody around me became so much better. My thoughts changed. My thoughts of myself are now full of love, kindness, acceptance, and no judgment. Yes, you better believe it. I am telling the truth. But it took work. My words followed my thoughts. I realized I had a lot of anger towards the people I loved the most. That was the hardest thing to deal with. You know, when I became aware that I had held the most anger towards the closest people to me, but then I understood that the anger was about me. Remember, I'm feeling the anger, so I shouldn't feel guilty about, but it's my mom, it's my dad, they love me, they treated me that way because they love me. No, it was not about them. It was how I reacted to them, their words, their actions. Therefore, I was okay with releasing my anger. That energy was inside me, and then I became free of it. Yeah. So thank you, Sahar. I realized I had a lot of sadness, which I never dealt with. That was my biggest.
I relate.
And it stuck here, and I was coughing a lot, and I had a cold at least 4 times a year. All my friends, if you ask any of my friends, they'd be like, "Oh no, Nathalie's sick again," you know. Okay, but that's how she is. Until I understood that I had so much grief and sadness that I did not release until I mean, I cried a lot, I can tell you that, but it felt refreshing, like it does after we have a good cry, because it's an energy that we need to release, and then we feel better. I was then naturally filled with forgiveness and love and happiness. Like I told you, we do not wake up to intend to do it. This is how we are, so it just happens naturally. And I dissolved my depression without the help of chemicals, because I really wanted to understand how my mind was working. I stopped having irritable bowel syndrome, chest colds, the flu, and coughs so often. Really, it was so liberating and empowering. And that's the information I would really love to share with as many people as possible, to empower people to know that, okay, it's good, you need doctors every now and then, you need this, you need that, we all need each other, but you are your number one. You first. Understand how you're creating it and understand how you can change it from within first before somebody externally comes who doesn't know you. A doctor does not know you. He does not know who you are inside and just tries to help you by treating the matter from the external surface. You need to start working on what's happening inside you first. Yeah, Sahar, thank you.
Next slide.
Please.
Sure.
Yes, so my last slide is how the knowledge will help you change your life, to become aware of your thoughts and emotions. Okay, you'll understand that you're not your thoughts and you're not your emotions. They are just energy passing through you. You will learn how to fully love yourself and accept everything about yourself. You'll stop judging. You will, I am telling you this as an order, you will stop judging yourself or comparing yourself to others. You will learn how fear, anxiety, guilt, and shame are developed within us from a very young age and the steps to release and change them. You will get tools on how to release your anger, your sadness, and all other emotions you suppress. You will understand how your thoughts affect your emotions and how those can help create physical dis-ease in your body. I keep using the hyphen because it is a dis-ease of energy flow. You will understand how to reverse or stop dis-ease from happening, as I did. And this is it from my side.
And thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. And we now open the floor for any questions. Any questions, anyone? Don't be shy, because if you ask, you'll get more out of it. Well, we hope. And as a thank you, I just want to put in the chat my gift to you, which you can click on the link and download. Yeah, there you are. You can see also I have an online academy. I call it Life's Academy. When you join, it's for free for life, and you have a lot of courses and tools that you can download and listen to. And finally, the website to check my package. Nathalie, do you want to share your website too?
Yeah, because it just got fixed, so it's working.
Good, good. I think you need to put the HTTPS, otherwise it's not linkable.
Okay.
And also, guys, for all of you tonight, for the next 7 days, if you pick any of my packages, you're going to get a 50% discount. This is to thank you, to encourage you, because my personal mantra for this year is no more excuses. And this is what I'm offering all my clients this year, no excuses. If anything can help you, a free webinar, Unbox coffee break, or the academy, make use of it. But to you physically, take the online assessment. It's on my website. It's also on my Insta page. And I'll get a copy automatically. And then you get your 1 session free anyway. So we begin to see where your problem is. And if you choose to continue, I promise you to solve at least 1 issue in the discovery session. But then if you choose to continue, this is your chance. You will continue with any package that is good for you at 50%.
Can I add something, Sahar, before anybody asks the question, since you are offering such a nice...
Well, I really hope so. I'd love to see people moving forward. I'm sick of this lockdown of life.
Well, I'm also offering my workshop at 50% because I just very happily turned 50 and it's such a great age to be. Yay! So for the whole year, my workshop will be at 50%, and anybody taking the workshop, thank you, Ala. Anybody taking my workshop, if there is any counseling to be done, that's also at 50% during the 7 weeks, because really the information is crucial. Yeah. And I'm going to milk the number. So yeah.
Well done. Well done. Okay. Where's our
Thank you so much.
question? Thanks, Janan. Okay.
Really
Mark,
nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey,
Carla, what is your question? Oh, Baria. Okay, guys, yalla, go. Raise a hand and then let us know.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What a beautiful, beautiful introduction to both of you.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it. I don't have a question per se, but I'm always fascinated when you guys talk about how much the mind can control the body and how much we can do to help ourselves unbox, become better people, happier, undepressed, and all of that. And I find it so intriguing that you both have devised different ways of accomplishing that. So I'm very grateful for the knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate it, Bayan. Thank you.
I think Muhammad has a question.
Yeah, please go ahead, Muhammad. Unmute yourself.
Yes.
Tell us where you're joining in from.
I'm joining from Amman, Jordan.
Okay.
Yeah, and thank you very much for your presentation. And I know to know who I'm very glad that I attended this webinar. And also I had this question.
Sure.
I liked how you discussed science indirectly, and therefore I would like to see the rational point of view of how can we relate the science and spiritual in relieving or in changing our lives. Maybe Miss.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
If I may start, and then I'll pass it on to Nathalie. My own personal experience, I don't differentiate between the logic or spirituality. It's really all about awareness. You need to be aware that the whole universe is moving, is orbiting, planets are orbiting about different planets. We exist like microorganisms on the earth, kind of in the same way that microorganisms exist within you, inside your body. So everything is really connected. And at the very basic level, scientifically, if an atom exists here, as I said earlier, the electron is somewhere else. So this movement really fascinated me since I was a child. I'm here, but I'm not here. Part of me is elsewhere. And I think, to put it in a nutshell, this is how it boiled down to, that if a butterfly moves here, it will affect another part in the universe. So it's all about the interconnectedness and feeling that we are a small cog in a big wheel, in a big system of wheels, and everything is interconnected. If you just become aware of that and let go of the cerebral kind of chatter that we need to kind of prove, the proof is in the pudding. If your life is fine, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it. But if you're struggling, this is when you begin to explore more deeply, well, how do I relate to the world that I exist in? Does that help? Nathalie?
Yes, Yani, just to add on what you said, I do not differentiate them at all as well. I mean, I do, because it's just how you personally approach things. So I've always believed in this higher power. I always believed it was a power of love, not punishment, nothing else, just love. So I was here connected to it, and I needed to understand, and I did understand eventually that I came by choice, and I needed to grow through my experiences. So my experiences, my feelings, my thoughts all come from being here out of a spiritual choice of being here physically. I hope that made sense.
I think the fact that we are here as human beings, we might as well understand what is our makeup and how does it interact, respond, and how is it affected to the world that we exist in. So if you just look at that, and if you understand your own makeup, if you understand your body has hormones, and because it has hormones, these hormones may dictate a certain way of behavior, and they may form a certain emotional response. But then as you grow older, you have self-will, and your self-will develops according to how you synthesize your experiences. And that in turn shapes your belief system. And the final step is taking that decision. So it's all interlinked, and it's very exciting. It's like an interactive virtual game. If I change the way I look at the world, it will change my experiences, it will change how I respond, and it will modify my belief system, and therefore I will take the right action in the right direction. So if we want to bring it all together, and the reason that I focused on the first dimension is to emphasize how important the section that Nathalie talked about, because this is how we heal. You need to understand these hormones, and that each chakra correlates to a hormone, and it does have a psychological interpretation. And this is how the body grows, and this is how the emotions begin to form. Because if you think of a very young person, their emotions are very different from a teenager, from a post-teenager, and so on. So all these emotions develop as we grow older. And in the same way, this is how we experience the universe. So it's just to give you an inside and an outside picture of who we are as a human beings, not our character. But this makeup is the thing that gives us our unique character and our unique identity in the world. Does that make sense? Hands up.
Thank you.
It makes
Yes.
sense. You're welcome.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Muhammad.
Thank you, Muhammad.
Okay, any more questions?
Sahar, yeah, Sahar, Nathalie, I just want to say I'm so proud of both of you.
Oh, bless
It's
you.
been
Jana.
amazing. It's been amazing. Thanks,
Tell us-
Daria, for
Tell us where you're joining us from, Janan. It'll be interesting.
I live close to Chicago, Illinois.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be here.
Oh,
Shukran.
I love it. I'm glad it's a good time.
Thank you. Okay, let me check everyone else. Dana, Sami, Raj, Kutob, Ali, you're back. Any
Khulud.
question? Khulud, where is Khulud?
Zain,
here,
Zain's
Khulud?
going to be joining me on Saturday. No questions? Are you keeping them all for Saturday?
Keeping them all for you.
That's great.
Any feedback, guys? If you don't have a question, give us your feedback.
I'm raising my hand, but you guys don't see me.
Okay, now we see
Yes,
you.
hands.
You
Oops.
can't see everybody, so I have to
Yes.
pull the ribbon to see who's there.
لا، أنا
Okay,
عيني عليكي ما شفت.
I love the hand. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had two questions actually. One was slide, I remember 11, where you said we attract stuff from the outer world and then we react to them, and that's why we get blocked.
No,
But like,
whatever you carry within you, you will attract your experiences from the outside world. So if you believe, poor me, I can't do anything, I'm a victim, you will attract those experiences that will enforce that belief. So your mind
Yes.
is almost formulating your movie. And this is why you need to be very careful of what thoughts you have. If you reflect,
how do
and
I
go back-
break the loop?
I was just about
It's
to
a
tell you.
loop.
So it's not, it's good that you realize it's a loop. So if you reflect back and the last bad experience you've had or traumatizing experience, ask yourself, what was your belief? What were you thinking at that point? So did I believe that people can always let me down? Did you believe that you are not supported? Did you believe that I'm not special, always people put me down? Whatever your belief is, write that experience down like a movie, and then ask yourself, what's the underlying belief? Change the belief, the experiences will change. Nathalie, do you want to add anything?
No, I totally agree. And make sure you have, yes, Ala, go ahead. Make sure you have enough self-love to go through the experience. Kamli, what? Go ahead.
I had a second question regarding the chakras.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, when you felt like your chakra was blocked and you suffered from IBS, and how do we relate the chakras to the emotions? So, for example, if I feel like something, how do I know like which chakra, or how does it affect me, whether it's physically or emotionally? Like, how can I be aware of those parts?
Mahu, that's why I've broken it down into 7 weeks, because the 3 hours per chakra, we cover only an introduction, and each chakra is here energetically to teach you something. So for instance, very quickly, the first one is about you feeling safe, because it's all about we come into this world. So feeling safe and accepted and physically healthy. So we know all of the ailments, all of the traits it's come to teach us that we learn psychologically, emotionally, and physically. And then the second chakra is about self-love and then duality, learning about me and the other and all of our pleasures. And then the third one is about my autonomy. And if you think about it, each one has a certain age. By the age of like 4, 5, 6, the child realizes, I am me. I am not somebody else. This is me, and I am my own self. But a lot of times, also, what happens is, depending on the culture or whatever, their azime, their will gets broken, and this is the center that teaches you about your will. That you should know and trust yourself, because it's all to do with the digestive system. So trust your gut, trust your instinct, which is supposed to be our first brain. If I tell myself, oh, I don't know, I have to ask somebody else because I'm a child, I have to depend on somebody else all the time, I can't trust myself, the energy will not really run smoothly in that center until I learn that, no, I am independent, I am strong, I know what's good for me. Because for each person, it might be different. I can learn from others, but I need to trust myself. Then the fourth is the heart chakra, and it's all to do with self-love, love of others, acceptance of the self, acceptance of others. Not, like in relationships, everybody goes through, oh, I love this person because I want somebody who is this, and that. So it's all about conditions. So we love with conditions. So we learn about all of that and how to release the conditions. And then the fifth one is about the throat and speaking your truth, about lies. The sixth one's about vision, seeing, our aha moment, seeing beyond the physical. And then the seventh is about realizing how everything is perfect, everything is exactly the way it should be, and releasing attachment and connecting to all of life. So yeah, that's why it needs to be over 7 weeks, because there's a lot of information.
Yeah, regarding the chakras.
Just as an introduction, Kaman, but a list of references to keep on reading and growing.
But
Sahar.
in a simpler way, Ola, if you like, every chakra has a theme or represents something. Like Nathalie said, the first chakra is my right to live, or my right to exist, or my right to be safe. So if you go through an experience like a war or an invasion, you will be shaken to the roots, which is the root chakra. So that's complete instability. When you move to the second chakra, it's my right to express myself, or my right to choose a relationship.
Yeah. To feel pleasure, to feel joy.
Feel pleasure, which is more important. Yeah, very important. My right to express myself, my right to love and be loved, my right to belong, my right to, and so on. So first, there's diagnosis and there are tools. You don't need to understand the diagnosis, but it's just to reflect something. But find the theme. What is the recurring theme in your life? And then sometimes we have smaller themes. So you may go through a war experience that will affect your first chakra, but maybe also you lost your loved ones, and that will affect your second chakra. So the lower half of your body becomes very vulnerable, and then you may develop, I don't know, certain diseases, aches, pains, and so on. But understand it in a general point first. Understand what these chakras represent, if you like. Find the theme that you're going through. Find the belief that is not working for you. And then, together, you'll work out the tools and the steps to kind of correct that imbalance or that distortion. Because it's a dynamic process. I mean, you might be blocked today, maybe next week you are not, because you've realized something. Do you see what I mean? But when a disturbance continues for a long time, then you begin to see a manifestation in the physical body as an illness.
Zain had a question.
Please go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just curious to know at what age this starts, because, for example, I have very young children who are 4 and 2, and my 4-year-old has very often has cough issues, which I have to hospitalize for him later on. I'm just curious to know if that's within him, or is it a reflection of something from me on him?
Both.
Yeah, his reaction to you, and he's still very young, so maybe he's You know, it's much bigger than that. He's connected to you and his father and the whole family. So at that young an age, it might be him trying to express himself from that center, feeling shy, not very secure, or he might also be here to carry somebody else's.
To learn also maybe how to express himself.
Yeah.
Did you say 4 years or 4 months?
4 years.
Yeah.
But he's had it since he was, let's say, just under a year. So he's had it for the last 4 years, let's say, and then
and
I'm
how
like, is it asthmatic? Is it, you know, of course the doctors will tell you something, and then so based on this now, I'm like,
yeah. How did you feel when he was 1 year old? Did you feel stifled, or, you know, I can't cope or deal with that? Because children pick up, you know, at that age, he exists within your energy. He doesn't see himself separate from you.
Okay. I'll have to rewind in my thoughts.
You know, that's one approach, but it's much multi-layered, as we said, you know. Maybe as you learn to express yourself, he would, or maybe you teach him to express himself better, give him the space, the vocabulary to do it. Some children don't have enough words to express how they feel, you know, so you do it through a game or whatever, and then slowly that will. Breath and coughing is also, and correct me, Nathalie, it's how you take life in, because when you breathe in, you're taking life in. So if you're allergic, if you've got asthma, you literally don't know how to enjoy life or to have pleasure. Maybe give him more time to play, to do things with other children. It could be any one of those things.
Yeah.
You know, but as you learn more and as you have like a private session or whatever, you begin to realize which ones make sense and relate.
All right, thank you.
Because
But
you have
I'm
to
just
take a holistic approach, you know what I mean?
actually, I'm curious because he has a twin sister and she rarely ever gets sick, and he's the one who always gets sick. So I mean, why would that happen with one, not the other?
Kaman is his life journey. He might be here to help to work on that, work on expressing himself, you know. Yani, and I always go back to Rumi's sentence, which took me years to understand: the light shines through the wound. So the wound is what you've come to work on. It's what you're suffering with, but that's where your light shines. So he's maybe here to become a world leader or I don't know, public speaker. You know, it's just something he's working on.
Or simply not to be afraid to express himself. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe, I don't know if you are a big family or not, but some children kind of slip into the background because there are other siblings and they feel a little bit, you know, like, and then they start to cough or whatever. You know, it could be any one of those things. So just keep asking the right questions and observe your patterns, your behavior and the child's behavior. And then you will see whatever triggers him, then try and bring it back into balance again.
Okay, I just have one question.
Yes, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So another thing is, my sister just recently got diagnosed with breast cancer, and a few days ago, the doctor had told her that she tested positive for the gene. So where does genetics, back to Muhammad's question here with science, come into this, for example, where the genetics said, yes, it is genetic, and then where she may have obviously had a lot of issues in life.
Can I jump in and take that? You know, my husband suddenly died because of cancer. And he was healthy and he was eating vegetables and he was swimming every day and riding a bike and whatever. And I asked the doctor the same thing. And he said, we are all born with cancer. So the genes are there. But there is also something called biogenetics or epigenetics rather. And it is whatever experience you go through almost up to 6 months before that disease manifests. So something happens that triggers those genes. So we have the chemistry, but it's according to whatever need, whether it's on a soul level or a materialistic level. If something keeps repeating and it is not resolved, for women, they store their emotions in their breasts. For men, they store their emotions in their prostate gland. So if anything that is not resolved emotionally for whatever reason, if the pattern goes on for a long time, it may cause cancer. So there's always a trigger. It doesn't mean. Plus, if we speak spiritually, maybe their life journey, as Nathalie said earlier, needed them to experience that. You know, it took me a long time to understand why did my husband have to die and why of cancer and why of old people, you know. But this is what you learn. You learn to see it in a different way. And oddly enough, you know, when he passed away, I was so furious, like 4 or 5 days later, and throwing a tantrum at the powers that be. And I sat on the beach and then suddenly a thought came to my mind, you know, check my journal. And I thought, what journal? I didn't even know that he kept, you know, diaries. I know that he journaled every day and he used to show me that, but it was only like a journal. I went back home and I suddenly picked up a book and it was a journal. He had, in fact, like 15. And then I just opened it randomly at a page where he described what he went through in his, you know, in his earlier years. And he said, and this is the feeling that I still carry within me like cancer to this day. And he wrote that 2 years before he died. So having a thought, you know, that I have been wronged, for example, or I have been unloved in some way is just enough, if it goes on long enough, to trigger those genes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
where,
yes.
you know, the science and the spirituality come in,
Okay.
which is why I think it's really important to work on yourself. Because sometimes we box things, you know, and we stuff them to the back and we think, okay, we're coping, we're happy, we're partying, we're doing whatever. But then they creep up on you. And then all of a sudden you have to face your life. Sometimes it's too late, you know? And this is
can I just say to anyone, anybody who wants to listen to a brilliant PhD Dr. Bruce Lipton, he's written books. He's a cellular biologist, and he in week 6, Zain will talk more about this because he has so many great talks on YouTube. Okay, I just mentioned his name there, so you can all look him up. Listen to how he explains genetic science and how he says they're not linked. I'm not going to go into it, but just listen to him and see his view on things, how we are creating our genetic, what do you call it?
disposition.
Whatever, how he explains it is beautiful. So you better listen to him.
That's a great question. Thank you, Zain. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
I wonder if I might just be able to comment on something for Zain just for a moment.
Please.
I would, you know, I'm not going to get into I am this and that. And at the same time, I do intuitive healing through shadow work. And what came to mind, Zain, to me immediately about this 4-year-old child of yours, this, the son who is a twin, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Was that he is wanting to be heard.
Yep.
And maybe there is something going on between, he's individuating at 4 years old, but what I'm just sharing with you, what came to mind immediately, and I wanted to just take it or not take it. But I believe that it is a process of him wanting to be heard, that he's not feeling heard.
Thank you very much for sharing that. Okay, I will keep my mind open to that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, and thank you. This is really informative, very nice beginning here. I don't share this with many people just because I don't really have an avenue to do this. I had what we read about and called a spiritual awakening several years ago that sent me into a very dark place for quite a few years. And in the end, what it did for me was it made me an empath. I didn't believe in anything that you were talking about before this happened. So now it made me an empath, and as well as an intuitive healer, and I work with people's shadows. I help them through looking at their shadows. So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark, for that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
I hope that
Okay.
helps.
Any more questions, guys? Do you have something on mind that you want to add, share?
Sorry, can I just ask
Yeah,
one
yeah.
last question to Mark? How is it that I'll help him be heard? Is my question.
How what?
How do I help him be heard? Because you said he needs to be heard, right?
I'm saying it's a possibility, and you know, there is many ways of being heard. You know, something even as simple as really good eye contact. When you speak to a child and you get down to their level rather than standing above them.
Yeah.
Simple. That's like the very most basic, simple thing. But give him some time on his own with you to be heard, to say what he needs to say.
Good
Because it could very well be that he's competing with his twin sister for your attention.
Yeah.
I don't know your situation, you know, and these other two ladies who, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. That's very interesting and very inspired. I think, you know, think of Ta'abir. Give him the space and the time to express himself, how he feels. Like Mark suggested, give him room on his own. Maybe he needs his parents' individual attention. I mean, you never know what goes on in a child's mind, because it isn't intellectual yet. They behave according to what they feel. So the more you make them feel secure, loved, appreciated, the more that they're going to come out of their shell.
And as you were also saying, Sahar, is that your name? I'm sorry.
Yes. No, very good.
As you were also saying earlier before, well, both of you were saying, you also might want to take a look at yourself. What's going on? What areas do you need to be heard?
Yeah.
Because our children are extensions of ourselves, right? So I'd be looking at asking that question to you. If I'm also, you know, a life coach and NLP practitioner type thing. And if I were in a session with you, I might ask you about you, you know, where are the areas where you need to be heard? Maybe you're not feeling listened to. And if you can solve some of those things, it might stop on its own.
Yeah.
Life is really beautiful that way, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah,
thank you.
Nice one. Thank you, Mark.
Wonderful. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you for having me, and I appreciate being here.
Where are you joining us from, Mark?
I'm American, and I live in Dubai, though.
Oh, lovely. Okay, wonderful.
Okay,
Yeah.
right.
I've lived in Dubai for
we get to meet in
12
person
years.
someday. Yeah.
Well, that would be nice. So you're doing this every week? Once a month. Sorry, once a month. Yes, I meant to say once a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be nice to be able to reconnect and see how everything's going. So I like what you had to say. I believe in everything you had to say. I know intuitively that what you both said is true.
Thank you. I just want to give a shout out to Khulud. Nice to see you. And thank you everyone for joining in. Make sure you check the links, download the gift, which is the exercise, and take us up on our offer. 50%. That's fantastic for the next week. And I hope to see you on Saturday at Nathalie's workshop. That's all from me. Take care, be well, and see you on the next webinar. Nathalie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Night.